crucial elections. And the Labour Party, the Abure faction, is blaming the Nigerian police force, saying they're in cahoots with the Nenade Usman faction of the party. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbalwe right here in Abuja. So much for us to bite on the program tonight, from the very critical announcement of the election timetable as released today by INEC, the implications and of course issues relating to security, budget implementation and the state of the nation, the issues of the refinery and what has happened to the Port Harcourt and Kaduna refinery with the amount of money that have been spent on it. This is an episode of the program that you don't want to miss. Stick around with me, everyone. First, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
Dozens of dignitaries from Nigeria and across Africa joined the children and family of late General Murtala Muhammad to lay wreath in honor of the late military head of state who was assassinated 50 years ago. The brief ceremony, which took place in Abuja, is part of activities lined up by the family to celebrate their father's legacy. The event was attended by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, former Chief of Staff to President Buhari, as well as a delegation from the Angolan government. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has confirmed that the African Democratic Congress, the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party will not participate in the forthcoming by-elections in two constituencies of the River State House of Assembly. The by-elections are scheduled to hold in Kana State Constituency 2 and Ahuda East State Constituency 2 on February 21. The resident electoral commissioner in River State, Professor Gabriel Umere, explained that the PDP did not conduct a primary, while the ADC did not upload its candidates' details to the INEC portal, and the Labour Party is currently embroiled in litigation. And to Abia State, where chieftains of the All Progressives Congress, led by the former Minister of Science and Technology, Mr. Henry Iko, says the policies and reforms of the present administration under President Bola Tinubu have positioned him for a second term in office. Speaking during the inauguration of zonal and local government coordinators of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors in Umuahia, Mr. Iko, who is also the state coordinator of the team, says the group's primary mandate is to ensure the re-election of President Bola Tinubu and all APC candidates across the southeast in 2027. The Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Nkiruka Unyejocha, who represented Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma at the event, says the president has recorded far-reaching achievements across key sectors of the Nigerian economy and urged the newly inaugurated coordinators to swing into action immediately. Similarly, in Nasarawa State, the Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and Chairman, Progressives Governors Forum, has inaugurated the Renewed Hope coordinators in the state. The inauguration was performed during a rally organized in support of President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and the Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule. During the rally, the All Progressives Congress National Chairman, Professor Nentawe Uwata, also welcomed new members into the party, including the Senator representing Nasarawa West, Senator Ahmed Wadada, who decamped to the party from the Social Democratic Party.
There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories. Let's tell you that the Julius Abure-led Labour Party has now petitioned the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, over what it calls the alleged compromise of the Nigerian police in the invasion and occupation of its national secretariat in Abuja. There was a news conference where the Deputy National Chairman, Mr. Ayo Olorunfemi, says the police barricaded the entrance of the national secretariat and prevented his officials from accessing the office. He also revealed that while its officials were prevented, the police allowed officials of the Nenade Usman-led caretaker committee to access the premises.
The latest invasion was carried out at around 1 a.m. early on Tuesday, February 10, when some hoodlums, according to security personnel at the secretariat, scaled into the party compound to pull down party's billboard and replace them with that of Nenadi Usman. By the dawn of the day, we also noticed the unfortunate role played by the men of the Nigerian police force.
All right, from the Labour Party matter, let's take on perhaps your bigger story for today, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which has released the schedule for the election of 2027. The INEC has outlined the key dates for voting, party primaries, campaigns, and voter registration. The announcement is coming amidst growing concerns over the delayed passage of the Electoral Act amendment currently before the National Assembly. INEC had on the 4th of February indicated that it had completed work on the election timetable and schedule for activities despite the delay. According to the schedule, the presidential and National Assembly elections will be held on Saturday for 20th of February 2027, and governorship and state houses of assembly elections will follow 2 weeks later on the 6th of March 2027. The announcement was made earlier today by the chairman of INEC, Professor Joash Amupiton. Take a listen to him.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, today being Friday, 13th day of February 2026, formally releases the notice of election and the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general elections, a significant milestone in our democratic journey. The Commission hereby sets in motion the electoral process for the 2027 general election and fixes the date of the 2027 general election as follows. 1. Presidential and National Assembly election will come on the 20th February 2027. 2. Governorship and State Houses of Assembly will be 6th March 2027. The detailed timetable and schedule of activities have been uploaded to the Commission's website. We recognize the critical need for the timely action to ensure the integrity and effectiveness of our electoral process. It is imperative that the Commission acts swiftly to address any challenge arising from any delay that may result into some logistical failure.
Professor Joash Amopiton, the chairman of INEC there. Our first conversation on the program tonight is in relation to military funding, the budget, defense, and the National Assembly, the state of the nation, efforts of the Nigerian military in the theater of wars that we are experiencing in different parts of the country. I'm being joined by a former chairman of the Army Committee in the Senate, Senator Ali Ndume, who is live for us here in our Abuja studio. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight on the program, Senator Ndume.
Thank you, Sean. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you. What do you make of INEC's announcement? You see it coming, isn't it? Perhaps a lot of people will say, we saw, I mean, it's definitely going to be in February that elections will happen. But INEC is, according to the Electoral Act of 2022, INEC has done its own work in announcing the result 360 days before the next election.
I think that's okay, and it's not new. I think it has been like that for the past elections. Mm-hmm. So now that all these controversies like that have been going on, that election is being pulled by, dragged forward to this to 2026, now finally be, is put to rest, so that Nigerians can find another thing to talk about.
For a lot of politicians, elections preparation is not on the day that INEC makes this an announcement. Is the day that you win and one election, you start preparing for the other. In terms of performance, in terms of activities, you need to be in the faces of those who will vote for you. But we saw what has happened with you and your colleagues, and the Senate had come under intense scrutiny and criticism from a lot of Nigerians. Do you think that you and your colleagues did the right thing?
Well, I don't understand.
In the amendment of the Electoral Act.
Yeah, majority of us did the right thing. We had a hitch, somehow misunderstanding or undercut, let me say. But when Nigerians who are commendably vigilant called our attention to that, we immediately called an emergency meeting to actually do what Nigerians want. And I think that is the right thing to do. Nigerians are vigilant, and we now know that Nigerians are vigilant.
And you can't play with them.
Yeah, can't play with them. If you play with them, it's at your peril.
But do you think that whatever you decided as Senate, as an arm of the National Assembly, do you think that is sitting well with majority of Nigeria? It doesn't look like a lot of people are still happy with that amendment. The fact that you have to give some kind of responsibility to INEC officials, which a lot of people have said, no, go with what the House of Reps' own version is without having to give any kind of reliance on the discretion of any INEC official on the ground on the day.
Let me tell Nigerians, maybe that will give us a kind of comfort. We are a bicameral body. Any decision that is taken by the Senate, if not ratified or agreed upon by the House of Reps, will not work. You know why? Because the House of Reps are 360 and we are 109. In such cases now, like we did set up a harmonization committee to look at the electoral bill that we are processing. If the House of Reps stand their ground, then the Senate version cannot fly. Because at the end of it, if we disagree, even at the harmonization, then the last stage will be to have a conference of all members, and everybody will answer his father's name. And looking at their number, we can't get anywhere. We are virtually like 1/3 of the House of Reps.
Are you worried that some Nigerians don't think that the Senate, the Red Chamber, is progressive in its approach to some of these issues?
Well, you see, I'm a senator too, sitting one. So it would be wrong for me to evaluate myself. I can only account for myself. And even that, it is the public that will judge.
But when there's a decision being made by you and your colleagues as a group,
no, you see,
and there is a perception of unpopularity of the opinion and the decision made, are you worried about that kind of situation?
Yeah, I'm a kind of worried, very worried. Because the Senate is supposed to be a deliberating body. I have complained several times that during our sittings, the Senate president is supposed to be a neutral person sitting down there. But when you make a mistake as a presiding officer of taking side or seemingly to be taking side, then you are putting yourself in trouble. Because any decision that is coming out now, there's a confusion. And some people think that it is Opabio's decision. It should not be like that. It should be the Senate decision. Every decision we take should be what the senators want, the 108 of us, excluding Opabio. Because by him becoming the Senate president, he has lost some of his fundamental, privileges. That is to say, to even contribute is so limited, is supposed to preside, over the Senate, not to be senator's president, but Senate president. And there's a mix-up in this.
And that needs to be corrected.
Yeah, I think it's...
Have you spoken to him about your concern?
I did. We are close, but, there are certain things that human beings do unconsciously or consciously, and you can't take that away. You can't change him.
You can't change Opabio?
No. He's not a small person. He's not a small boy. He's 60-something. And the way he runs the Senate, sometimes I can say, well, if you take this life too seriously, but if you look at it, sometimes you think that Opabio is not serious. Everything he will turn it into like comedy. He will joke over it. But sometimes that helps to douse the tension. But when it happens most of the time, then it becomes some kind of problem.
I'm worried about you, and the reason I'm worried is so that some of your colleagues, younger ones, will not beat you. You're an elderly man too, because I saw the altercation that happened. It doesn't.
With who?
The at the committee, the budget defense.
Between me and somebody?
and Senator Nwabwe.
Oh, no. You know, Senate is, in a situation like that, it's normally because we are expressing ourselves. But I don't think it will degenerate to that level. Nwabwe is my junior. He knows that. And I don't think he has some problem of anger management. I can be very, what do you say?
But they say you are provocative.
Yeah.
And you could be inciting in some of your words that get some other people provoked. Do you do it intentionally to get people upset?
You too, you do it sometimes, even here, severally.
Do I get you provoked?
Yes. No, not me. Many of your guests, you provoke them. You only bring them to set them up and provoke them.
No, that's not the intention.
In order to extract more from them. I think that is why you are doing that.
Yeah, well, to get information.
Okay, you see, so everybody has his own shortcomings. But Nwabwe cannot, he was just angry that we have not been fair to him, which is understandable. But the way he expressed himself, he went too far, you know, because he was saying that Oshomole spoke for 15 minutes, and while he was trying to say his own, you know, the chairman tried to stop him from doing that, and he got angry. But no matter how angry you are, the Senator anger is old enough, I believe, to be Nwabwe's father. So whenever you are in a situation like that, you try to control your anger, not to go too far. But I think he went too far. And I was trying to just calm him down. Then he reacted again. You know why? Because my thinking is that he thought I would support him. So when he discovered that I was criticizing, he got angry again. And it's understandable. But I don't think it will degenerate into that. But in the house, when we're in the house, we do a lot of,
But you were younger at that time.
Yes.
But this time around, if you got beaten,
no,
you know, as your friend, I may not come and I may not be able to save you.
No, I don't pick a fight that I cannot win. Like you now, if you try me, I'll beat you up. Because I know I can beat you.
I'm younger.
Despite you are young.
Don't test me. We have a very big field at the end of this place.
At the end of this meeting, let's go out and you see how I'll deal with you.
My ability in taekwondo and the rest is...
No, I'll just wait for you because of your size. I'll pick you up and knock you on this rock.
Seriously speaking, Senator.
Before you know, you find yourself in ambulance.
Seriously, Senator.
Yeah.
I'm bothered about the disbursement and the spending and implementation of the budget of the military. But before we go there, you saw what the United States lawmakers are coming up about religious tolerance in Nigeria. And there's a possibility that they will impose sanction. And people like Senator Kwankwaso, Mark Ban, and Mieti Allah are right in the line of fire based on the deliberation and the debate of the U.S. lawmakers. Are some of you possibly at risk of such a thing?
Yeah, but what I'm sure of is that Nigeria, despite the fact that this is a bill introduced that has gone through first reading in both the Senate and the House, I've been trying to get my hands on the copy of the bill and what it contains. And it's not yet, you know, in the public domain, but it is only when I get the details. But I know the summary. In the summary, I know that the bill is recommending sanctions and even visa ban and confiscation of assets and all that. But nothing to worry about if somebody is actually clean. I'm surprised that Kwankwaso's name was mentioned, and I want to know how, when, and you know that he got implicated. So to say mention, and for him to mention just Kwankwaso as a former governor, I think, you know, something maybe is cooking or fishing somewhere.
Maybe there are intelligence and information that some of us are not privy to.
Intelligence, I don't want to go into that. But the intelligence and information, assets freeze and all that by the UK, America, and other developed countries is misplaced. Really, left to me, if they can help us put their eyes on people of particular concern instead of country of particular concern, Nigerians, majority of Nigerians are innocent people. But there are a few people that are holding Nigerians' assets outside, and they know. And up to now, there's no good exposure into it. And I think that is a topic for another day. But once, after this now, that the Americans are helping us in terms of the fight against insurgency.
You're happy with that?
Yeah. It's a welcome development. We have been looking for it. We didn't get it. We made effort. But now that, we have an opportunity, a window that we must utilize. Because I've been coming here severally and complaining that our major setback in the fight against insurgency is team. Now America has agreed to provide us this team free of charge, which is a welcome.
And they are boots on the ground also.
No, the boots on ground. The boots on ground does not involve, engagement. Their troops are not going
in combat.
Yes,
clearly in physical direct combat.
Yes.
But they might be involved in technological or control.
In fact, they are not even going to be involved in command. They are going to work under the Nigerian Army leadership or command. What clearly I've gone, I asked questions and they are going to help us do what I have been saying that is the major problem, especially the three factors: training, equipment, and intelligence. The major problem that we have is that of intelligence, surveillance, and
counterattack.
Yes. Now, we tried that before. We even tried to buy equipment, but the Leahy law prohibited us, frustrated the process. But now the Americans are saying, okay, after this issue of genocide that came out, and then a contingent came to find out that, look, the issue of insurgency, terrorism is more than what they are thinking about, and they have also agreed that issue of genocide is not there. There is just that the terrorists are killing Christians and also killing Muslims and killing other people. Now they realize Nigeria needs to help, and they agreed to help us. These have been things that we have been begging for and we have not been able to get from the Americans, and now they are willing to do that. I think it's a welcome development, and we have to use the opportunity. So I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy that the president himself or the executive are responding positively to it in terms of increasing the number of boots on ground. That is recruitment, promotion, and the other thing that is still outstanding is the issue of motivation, and that is the remuneration of the not only Nigerian armed forces, but other security agencies in the country, because Nigerian army and other security agencies in this country are one of the most, poorly paid. When you look, our police, army, SSS, immigration, and all that. Besides the fact that their number is not enough, they are not well paid at all. They are not well taken care of. Their welfare, you go now, you find buildings coming up everywhere, but it's not. If you go to barracks, if you see the condition, the police, the army, the navy are being accommodated, you feel sorry. Right.
So you are okay even with America setting up a base here?
No.
You are okay with America having some level of presence until we win the war?
Yeah. Let me get this clear. And that's one of the major problems we have in the country, and especially in the political or the elite class. The poor man down there in my village will welcome the American police to his house as long as he will have peace. He will sleep with his two eyes closed. But here we are when there's this offer, and people are saying, oh, if they come, they set off a base, and all these things is not something right now. Had it been that we have peace and we know that we can take care of ourselves, then you don't need anybody. But if your house is on fire, even if it's your enemy that will give you water to quench the fire, you have to take the water first, quench the fire, then you go back to whatever position you have with that person. But when your house is on fire, I think it would be stupid, so to say, oh, I don't want water from my neighbor. And while the fire is on your house, I don't think so. We have found ourselves in a very bad situation, especially in the Northeast, and now it's escalating, or it has gone to almost everywhere. We need that support.
Do you think that the efforts being made presently is working?
Not only working, honestly, you see, you know that I'm one of the critics of the government, both this government and the previous one, on the manner and the way they handle the issue of security, which is the main purpose of government. Because clearly the Constitution says security and welfare of citizens is the purpose of government. I have been critical.
Yeah.
But now, especially recently, the development also calls for commendation for the effort that this government under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like now, he has declared a state of emergency in security, which is good. And then he has ordered the Nigerian army to increase the recruitment, I think, giving them up to base of 50,000, but I think the expansion is, they have just doubled the number of recruitment after every 6 months. And then we hear of them acquiring platforms for the Nigerian Air Force. And the total budget for defense this year, I think the defense has the highest budget before the National Assembly, over 3.8 trillion. That is proposed. The only problem that we have with this budgeting stuff is still the funding of the budget. It is beautiful.
The lack of implementation.
The
proposal on the budget is good, yes, but the money is not coming.
And the way the money is even coming is my big problem.
Could that be a setback?
Yes, a big setback. Because even last year, the 3.25 trillion that was allocated to them, the monies released to them is insignificant. But
what were they explaining to you that is the cause of the lack of funds? And it's not only in the defense, it's across board. We're having residue of 2024 budget, residue of 2025 budget. We are still dealing with 2026 proposal right now. What seems to be the problem of the Bola Tinubu government and issues of budgeting?
The major problem are those that the president entrusted in implementing or executing these things. We have said, or I have said several times, and even the Senate in general, recently the defense people came before the Committee on Defense and were disappointed with the level of releases and achievement in the budget. And that is because when the president signed an appropriation act, that means he has agreed that these are the things that are to be done. And the other thing is the major problem is lack of proper prioritization of the implementation of the budget. As I said, security and welfare of citizens is the main purpose of government. Therefore, if it's to me, and I'm appealing to the president, to make sure that defense budget becomes a major priority. In America, they do that. Even when you hear of shutdown of government, the monies that are for defense, for security, for social welfare, for, I think, health, and also agriculture, these are called the non-discretionary spendings of government. That is to say, you cannot decide to say, oh, you are paying, or you are releasing or not releasing. So one thing that now the president needs to do is to make sure that the budget of Ministry of Defense should go under what do you call
first line charge?
First line charge.
No delays. No delays. It goes straight
to
them.
Once the budget is approved, no bottlenecks. The Minister of Finance has nothing to do with it. Only that once the time comes, the army people go to central bank and get their money quarterly or monthly. In fact, preferably quarterly. Because, you know why I say so? Because some of this equipment and major equipment and everything of the Nigerian army, except for their running costs, that is overhead, it's not off-the-shelf item. Even bullets, we don't manufacture it. You have to buy it from somewhere. So, and they have to, it takes time. It's not something that you can just place an order and get it. No. So if you have the money, then you buy for 3 months at least, or 6 months. Then you go and face your work. And another thing is, even the allowances spills over and salary. I was worried.
Senator, after the operation of the American forces in Sokoto,
yes,
on Christmas Day last year,
the eve of Christmas.
The eve of Christmas. Were you thinking that they would have done another one?
No, I called for it. In fact, I was.
So you want American more of?
No, I was thinking that they would start from my local government in the Mandara Mountain.
In Goza.
Yes, because the Boko Haram, the ISWAP are, have dominated for the past 15 years. They have dominated the Mandara Mountain up to now. And we had wanted and I have been calling that there must be consistent and sustained attack until they are all eliminated. That way our people that are still, in the IDPs down, under the mountain can go back. Because there are people who live in the mountains and farm in the mountains, but they have to run away. Boko Haram chase them. Up to now, there are some of them that are captives that normally escape and come down. So, but if that is done,
Sambisa, Goza area,
and
the fringes, Timbuktu,
yes,
those areas.
In fact, I'm speaking for my people, especially my own local government. If the 200 Americans that Nigerians are talking about now they are not comfortable, please let them go to my local government and stay and operate from there. Our people will be happy. I told you I can offer my house in Goza for them to stay, as long as we will have peace. You know what? For the past 16 years, I cannot go to my village, especially this time around. No. No matter what, even under escort, you don't risk going from Maiduguri.
It's under the control
even if I have an emergency now, even if my father and mother are all dead, but even if I have one of my own who dies today, I cannot just go like before. But before I come from Abuja here, decide to spend the night on the road and no fear. You drive from here without escort up to my village as far as you can. But now you cannot even go to Gwagwalada. You cannot even go to Gwagwalada this time around. So if we say that Nigerian army are coming in, or American army are coming in to help us, and as we can see results, that is another thing. Yeah. We should see results. Like now, with what they are intending to provide, the issue of what happened in Kwara could have been, because up to now, nobody has been arrested, no trace of who did it. But if you have them, they are planned 3 locations, not based, so to say, but locations would be in Kanji. They are already there because our Tucanos, the A29 Tucanos, are based in Kanji. Then the other one is that they are operational. They are drones that they are, intending to have them where we have been crying out. That is to have drones and attack armed drones that can take care, so that if there is an incident, within minutes,
they can move there.
They can move there and take
rapid response.
Rapid response. Remember, lack of surveillance, equipment, and intelligence. Just recently, up to now, the brigade commander of Damboa in my senatorial district is still MIA. That is missing in action. Since we have not seen. And just 2 days ago or so, a professor from the university, Nigerian Army University Bureau, Professor Mohammed, died in the captivity. And we could not get even his dead body back. So we had to perform his funeral in absentia. If we had intelligence, if we have surveillance, if we have, the equipment that will, do reconnaissance effectively.
Right. Senator, before I allow you to go, 2027 election timetable is already here.
Yep.
You see what the ADC is doing. And they really have a strong plan in sending you and your colleagues in the ADC, in APC packing. They want to send you out of town. They think you are less popular right now. They think it's the time for the ADC to take over power in the country in 2027. Does it give you some kind of concern that time is up for your party?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Even with Atiku,
yes,
and maybe a Peter Obi and Mechi,
yes. Because you know why?
Them?
You know why? The opposition, that is the new opposition, emerging opposition, is concentrating on election. That is my disagreement with them. We are talking about governance. It's something that Nigerians are not, to me, even including myself. I'm worried about good governance. I'm more worried about the mandate. I'm not worried about taking over. You know, I'm going into election too, myself. But I'm not particularly worried about winning the next election. I'm particularly worried about serving the mandate my people have handed.
And that's what they are capitalizing on. Oh. The opposition thinks
so that's why I said,
not really serve the interest of the Nigerian people.
We are not, you know, generally as the things look, Nigerians are not satisfied with what's going on. But I said several times that Nigerians would prefer to in Hausa, I wanted to say, they say the Sohun, the Sabon Guinea, Gara Sohu. You know Hausa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bit of Hausa. To stay with what they are familiar with rather than the unknown.
Yes. And but no, it's to say that it's better to keep your house old than to abandon the old house and build another one. But ADC are now telling Nigerians that this house is going to collapse on us. So it's better you leave and come in today. So these are the kind of things going on. I believe that you know, the president can turn things up, but time is running out.
But with what is on ground now, do you think if they go to the post today, do you think that the president can win?
Well, I'm not or soothsayer. I cannot say that, but definitely the opposition of ADC should not be taken for granted.
Senator Ali Ndume, thank you so much. But I thought you have some spiritual powers, but now that you've told me that,
are you telling me or you are warning APC that, look, these people are too...
said it, that the ADC should not be taken for granted?
I said it, no. No opponent should be taken for granted. You have seen what Obi did.
So President Tinubu should be worried about...
Yeah, we must. And that is, again, that's my last listen. Politicians are decamping. People are not decamping yet. They are not decamping, and that's the little comfort. APC or to APC. So they are watching. And so if you take Nigerians for granted, then
you pay dearly for it.
Yes, because that was what happened during PDP. PDP said they will rule Nigeria for 60 years. They didn't know that it was for 16 years. And they thought money would work. It didn't work. But the good thing is, you see, this government, especially the Tinubu, you must give it to him. You look at the programs that he rolled out for years. They are commendable programs. But the problem is, I say this severally, that the people surrounding him, and those are the executioners, are people that more or less kleptocrats and kakistocrats. I say it again. And he has to look inward to see who are working with him. You know, I said it in one program that he succeeded the former vice president. Why is Akande not visible? Why is, you know, these are people that would, if are constantly around, they would look that I would the president now that can tell him this and say, Oga, do it this way.
Senator, you're sounding like a prophet now. Pastor Ali Ndume. Thank you so much.
I prefer Alaji.
The Bible. And maybe convert you at some point. It will be good for you. And I will give you a good name. Should I give you a Christian name?
I have a Christian name.
Do you have one already? But I'll give you another one. What's your Christian name?
My Christian name was Samuel.
Samuel?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's better than what is your name?
Senator Samuel Ali Ndume, thank you so much.
Shehu is not in the Bible.
I have one.
I can even say you are not a Christian.
Oh God, I'm a child of God. Senator Ali Ndume, Samuel Ali Ndume. Thank you so much for talking to us. Up next on the program, we'll be talking energy sector, the petroleum industry, what is happening to our refineries? Why is anyone not talking about it? We'll be analyzing the refinery and the oil sector under the Timetable government. After this break, everyone. Join us again.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, Guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
My Baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go on scam you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My Baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press and lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My Baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
The Adamawa State Governor, His Excellency the Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, CON, heartily welcomes Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to a one-day state visit to Adamawa. While in the state, Mr. President will commission several landmark projects, which include the Jibeta Model School, replicated across the 21 local governments in Adamawa State, 8-lane highway with an underpass along Galadima Aminu Way, the High Court Complex, and the new Governor's Office Complex. Mr. President will also perform the groundbreaking ceremony for the NYC Orientation Camp. Mr. President, you're welcome to the land of beauty. Usi Agashli, Mr. President. This message is from His Excellency Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, CON, Governor, Adamawa State.
Staying with us, our attention is now drawn to the petroleum and the energy sector. We're spotlighting what is happening to our refineries. The one Nigeria borrowed money to service, and they said at some point that the refineries were working until the refineries no longer work. Well, the NNPC had come out to say that it made some profit. But what exactly is the future of that sector? I'm being joined tonight by Mr. Dan Kunle, who is an energy consultant. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much, Senior Kimbaloyi. Happy New Year and
good to see you.
Back.
It's in February, but then.
For giving me it's already, but I've not seen you this year.
Thank you so much.
For giving me the opportunity to be on this, your powerful team.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's important because you have been in government before. You've been in the private sector, so you know what exactly is going on. And if you hear about our refineries, the Warri, the Kaduna, the Port Harcourt refinery, and the kind of money and the maintenance that have been done over the years, and you hear that they're not serviceable, the maintenance are not working, they're not yielding the kind of profit and benefit that we're supposed to be seeing from them, how does that make you feel?
Very bad. And thank you for giving me this opportunity, because I think a week ago, one of the platforms like this gave me an opportunity also in Lagos. I feel very bad. I am part of the history of the refinery privatization. The three. But we could not touch Warri refinery that time. So Port Harcourt and Kaduna were privatized already under Obasanjo. So when I saw Bayo Ojulari talking, the GMD of NNPC, and I listened to him, I stood up. I said, for the first time, I think this country, there is hope for public officer of that status to say the truth like that and not be bending. So when you hear the humongous money that has been wasted, Nigerian people at times, they are so passive. They will just wave away things like that. When it is hot, they will talk so much about it, then suddenly they will wave it away. The amount of money we had that has been wasted, 3 billion, to be specific, in the recent time. But over the years, is over $25 billion that has gone into those refineries. Since 1977-78, that NNPC was created, we have been importing petroleum products in this country to meet up the shortfall. Because the first refinery from 1965 that was built, that is refinery, Porako Refinery 1, it was just a utility refinery to produce low-power fuel for the production site of Shell and British Petroleum that time. So that refinery was not built to refine premium fuel. So now we now build second refinery. We could not run it. So when I heard Bayo Ojulari say, this refinery, NNPC cannot run them for profit. It's not possible from the way they are organized.
This is what he said.
So I was very happy.
Hear what he said, and I'm quoting him now. Mr. Ojulari said, we were just wasting money. The refineries were leaking value, and there was no clear line of sight on how those losses would ever turn into profits.
Very correct. Very correct. I congratulate him for the courage. And I congratulate Nigeria that at this very point in the history of this country, we have a refinery that on Wednesday, single refinery, crossed 650,000 barrels per day.
That's the Dangote refinery.
Dangote refinery.
Privately owned.
Privately owned. Privately built in this same country. So you can now see government-owned enterprises cannot work because of our nature, because of our lackadaisical attitude, because of our passivity. So how can we waste that kind of money in Porako? And they assemble people in this same country, including, some journalists were assembled to go there to witness how Porako Refinery 1 was working, and they were celebrating, using our public money to deceive the president of this country that the place was now working, that it was hallelujah. I hope you understand. So, and that is why I am surprised that Nigerians, particularly the social groups and NGOs, all of you combined, the media, investigative journalists, have not screamed and say all the past GMD, including ministers that were approving all those things, they must be brought to book in this country. This matter must not lie low.
$25 billion US.
Over the years, but in the recent time, it was 3 billion.
3 billion.
1.5 billion for Porako, about 700 million for Warri, about 700 million for Kaduna, and nothing now.
The term has always come, that's maintenance, that over the time, people have been paid salaries, turnaround maintenance being done year and year. For several years, some of those refineries were shut down, were not working. But time is being spent on these refineries. But until the federal government came out and said, we, in partnership with some private sector, we will borrow about over $1 billion US at a time to start with the Porako Kaduna refinery and all of that. But recently, the federal government says, or the NNPC said, it was working. And we saw product being lifted. And there were contestation as to this is how much Dangote is selling. This is how much NNPC. We saw it. They came out to say, okay, there is a mixture that gives us the PMS that we want. And all of those came out. But now the NNPC, GMB, Mr. Ojulari has said that whether you love Dangote or not, thank God it is a Nigerian refinery built in Nigeria and working in Nigeria. He said halting operation is not failure. He insisted that it is discipline. It is honesty. It is admitting that a system is not working and must be fundamentally restructured.
God bless him and his family, and God bless Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. May we produce more upright public officers in Nigeria who will say the truth, and the truth will set us free. The money.
Speaking about the failure of the institutions that he also governs.
Yes. How many institutions in Nigeria have not failed? How many public institutions in Nigeria have not failed? Okay, NNPC, Biojulari, we have to go further. If the private importers or the private petroleum marketers have borrowed them money up to $1 billion, we want to see the account. We want to see the tax returns. Nigeria Revenue Service must bring out the tax return. We want to see the tax return of all the marketers and the people lifting crude oil, including the commission they earn or the commission they pay, either to Duke Oil or to NNPC. We want to see all the accounts, how it has been done in the last 10 years. So Biojulari still have job to show us how much did that marketer or that private person who say we borrow them $1 billion, how much did he eventually give? And where is the account rendition?
If you were President Bola Tinubu, Mr. Kunle, what would you do today? You have a 3-state-owned refinery that are moribund, so to say, shut down by the state-owned oil company, and they're saying that they are not simply working. What would you do to those entities?
I will call the Vice President, the Chairman of National Council on Privatization. I will say the schedule of the Privatization Act says that you should privatize NNPC refinery, the subsidiaries. I was told that they have board. And I don't know that the refineries have board, but I heard that they have board. About a week ago, I said they have no board, but they have corrected me that they have board. So let the board turn in their report to the holding company, which is NNPC. Let NNPC turn in their report to National Council on Privatization. If I am President Tinubu today, I will order that those refineries should be included in the privatization exercise, including all the JVs, all the joint ventures they want to privatize now. I learned that the Minister of Finance wants to sell some asset. It's not his responsibility. He's the Vice Chairman of the National Council on Privatization, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. So he should turn those assets to BP, the appropriate agency, to appoint consultants and advisors to do diagnostic report on all the assets and either liquidate them or privatize them. Because the money we have wasted, but President Tinubu must go further. They must appoint forensic auditors to check all the account of the crude oil allocation, the people who were lifting crude oil and who said they will use the crude oil to advance money to NNPC. We must see those accounts. We cannot just sweep this thing under the carpet. When one individual suffers to the extent to which Aliko Dangote suffered in this country to build that refinery, and then some public officers by privilege, just because they are graduate of geology or mechanical engineering, just got job in NNPC and just squander the country like this, and then we just look away. And then the same Nigerian who look away, we say they want Nigeria to develop. How can Nigeria develop like that when some people just use the public office they see to squander our wealth? So if the president is not only privatizing them or liquidating them immediately, he should also ask that Ojulari must appoint forensic auditor to check all the accounts, the people lifting the crude oil, the SWAT, then the special allocation, that is the 445,000 barrel allocation to local refineries, which we don't know how they have been, what they have been doing with it.
NNPC, by the way, generated about 60 trillion and posted over 5 trillion post-tax profit, which is, a lot of people will say, good. For an institution that has always operated with an opaque books, and people have been asking, NNPC, open your books, let us scrutinize. It's always in some kind of secrecy, shrouded in a lot of hush arrangement. But now, we can see a bit of what, and a lot of people are demanding some more details into NNPC books. But how much of a good news when you hear over 60 trillion generated and over 5 trillion in post-tax profit?
Is a mystery figure. Very is watery.
It's meager.
Yes, very meager.
They could do better.
Yeah. Oh, look, that means all the money they will have made for the country, they have been losing it to midstream, downstream. They have been using it, they have been wasting the money in the midstream, downstream. This, my statement, is qualified. I am not accusing Bayojulari regime now, his management. But he has responsibility now with the board and the management to open up the path. They cannot sweep it under the carpet.
Because we borrowed money
possible.
Also.
That's 60 trillion.
We have burden. We have monies that were debts that is hanging on, and that we need to offload also. And is from,
I am sure Bayojulari now has no crude to give to Dangote refinery. Why?
Really?
They have committed those crude.
So where does Dangote see his crude?
Maybe he get like 6 cargoes in a month. 6 cargo is approximately 8 million barrels. And the refinery can crack 700,000 barrels a day. So if you give me 8 million. So
Dangote has been importing crude.
Yes, that means 8 days crude is what you give me, and my refinery need to work 30 days.
With the new figures that Dangote is going to be achieving in the coming days now, what does that portend for the petroleum sector?
The Nigeria Upstream Regulatory Commission and NNPC have to sit down and say, how do we get crude to sell to Dangote at the discount, not at a premium? Even the premium, at the premium that they are selling to him now, I want Nigeria Revenue Service to check the tax responsibility of both Vitor, all of them that are taking that crude, and they are adding premium on top. Yeah. So there is problem. Let me tell you, there are some assets that Bayojulari must look into. What is going on with OML 98? What is going on with OML 18? What is going on with OML 123? Who are the people operating this asset? Where are all the liquids? Look, there is so much accounting, petroleum accounting in this country is opaque. So that 60 trillion is just what the auditor,
so the president has a lot of work.
They don't even let him know the truth. He's too high up there. It is what they do. Okay, like when they deceived him that Porako refinery was working. Those of us who said it was not working, that it was just blending they were doing, they didn't like us now, but has the truth not come out now? So we should celebrate those people who say the truth. So I thank you for this privilege.
Thank you so much.
I hope there will be a time that we will have 1 hour, full 1 hour to
we will do
dissect.
And I'm interested in that conversation.
Yes, but finally, we must call out all of them, all of them, they must come to account. They must go to EFCC.
Dankole, thank you so much.
I insist.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for your time.
much.
That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.
Thanks for staying with us on Channels Television, and warm welcome.